All right, so in the last video we talked about rem and m units. Now we're going to talk about VH and VW, which is viewport height and viewport widths. So the viewport is this whole area inside the browser, basically the browser body, okay? And when we say, for instance, 50 VH, which is 50 viewport heights, it's going to take up 50 of 100 viewport heights. And the way I want you to think of this is slices. So each viewport height is a slice across. Okay, it goes up and down and slices across, and there's always going to be 100 of them. Okay, no matter how big or small the browser is, you can make it tiny, you could stretch it across your whole screen. There's always 100 viewport heights, and each one is a slice. Now for viewport widths, it's the same thing, only it goes across and the slices go down. So there's 100 slices that go this way. And you can set your content to take up 2 or 100 or anything between 0 and 100 viewport heights and viewport widths. So we're going to create a tiny little project, kind of a landing page using, so I can give you an example of how to use these. And viewport heights are used much more than viewport widths because for the most part things go all the way across anyway. So we're going to create a new file here. Let's call it 15_vh_vw.html. And we're going to put our head and body tags. Let's say VH and VW units, and we'll put in our style. Okay, so let's add our HTML first, and we're going to put in a header tag. And inside the header, let's do an H1. We'll just say, welcome to our website. And we'll put a paragraph. Let's do lorem. We'll do lorem 15. And let's see, underneath that, let's put a link with a class of btn. Oops, we want a link, so it's going to be an A tag with the class of btn. And it's not going to go anywhere. And inside the link, we'll just say, find out more. All right, now in the style, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of reset. So we're going to use an asterisk, meaning target everything. And let's set the box sizing to border box. And then let's remove the margin and padding from everything. Okay, and I'm just going to open this with Live Server. So this is what it should look like, and notice the margin and padding is removed from everything. Let's add in a body style because I want this to look decent. So we'll say font family, and let's grab this right here. This is Go UI to Homa. And for the header, I'm going to do, you know what, let's do a background. I'm going to add an image, but for now I'm just going to add a color, so just a dark color. And let's make the color of the text white. And let's save that and see what we get. So by default, it's just going to, the background color is going to wrap, it's going to wrap the content. If we add more paragraphs and stuff, it's going to just go down along with the content. What I want is the header background to take up the entire thing, okay, the entire screen. And you might think, well, let's set the height to 100% of its container, which is the body. So let's save that. Okay, I saved it, and there's no difference. And this is kind of a gotcha. I'm just going to show you that if we look at the body, right? Let's click on the body here. So the body is being highlighted. You may think the body takes up the entire browser body, but it's not. It's just wrapping whatever is in the content, right? So setting it to 100% of the body is literally just doing what it's already doing. It's just coming down to here. We want it to cover everything. This is where viewport heights come in. So I'm going to go ahead and change this from 100% to 100 VH and save. And now you can see it covers everything. Okay, regardless of how big or small the browser is, you know, we can make it bigger or smaller. It doesn't matter. It's taking up 100 viewport heights. Now, if I change this to 50 viewport heights and save, it takes up exactly half, because remember, there's 100 slices, right? This is taking up 50 of those 100 slices. If I change this to 20, it's going to take up 20 of those 100 slices. So this makes creating landing pages very easily. You know, it's very popular now to have a whole big image with some text and a button. That's a very popular look, and VH allows us to do that very easily. So let's make this an actual image. I'm going to grab a remote image from source.unsplash.com, and if you go down here, let's see, so random from a collection. You know what? Let's grab the daily photo. So this right here. This will give us a random daily photo. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to add this to the background. Now, I don't know if I've showed you this before, but you can have a background color and then put a URL after it. So basically, you have the color and then you have the image on top of it. So let's put in here that link. Let's save it and go back. And now you'll see we have a background image. Yours will probably be different. Close that up. Yours will probably be different because it's a daily photo and they change it daily. Now, notice that it's repeating, and I don't think I've had the chance to even show you this. See the repeat? Since our window is bigger than the actual image, then it repeats. So we're going to add some other properties to this background. So one is going to be no repeat. Save that, and now you can see it doesn't repeat. Okay. Another thing I want to do is I want to center it, and I want it to cover the whole page, the whole background. So in addition to no repeat, let's do center on the X and Y axis, and then /cover, and save, and now it covers the entire thing. If I stretch this out, it's always going to cover. So that's going to be your most popular way to do this, or the most common way to do this. Now let's work on actually centering the text. Now this is where Flexbox actually works really well, but we haven't gotten to that yet. So we're just going to use paddings and stuff like that. So for the header, first of all, I want to text align everything. And I could stop here. I mean, I showed you guys what VH and, well, I didn't show you VW yet, but yeah, actually, let's do that first. So let's add in a width of, let's say, 50 VW, and save. And now you'll see it's only going to take up half. Okay, so it's the exact same thing, only it goes horizontal instead of vertical, but I personally don't use VW that much because, as you can see, it goes all the way across anyway. The height's a different story. It's not going to go all the way down on its own. But yeah, that's VW. So let's go ahead and text align to the center. So we'll save that. Now everything is aligned to the center. Make this a little bigger. And let's see, now what I want to do is add some padding within the header. Let's do 2 rem. So now there's 2 rem padding all around, but I want to push this down more. And there's better ways to do this with Flexbox. We could align it directly in the middle, but we haven't gotten to that yet. So I'm just going to add padding top. Let's do padding top. Let's try 200. No, we'll use rem units. Let's do 5 rem. No, we want more than that. Let's do 10. That's still not low enough. Let's do 15. All right, and if I were to make this smaller, good. So let's make this look somewhat decent. We're going to target some of these other elements like the H1, the paragraph, the button, and style those a little bit. So let's say header. Actually, we want header H1. and we're going to change the font size to 3 rem. So that's going to be 16 is the default root font size. It's going to be 16 times 3. And for the paragraph, let's say header paragraph, let's do margin, and let's do 1 rem top and bottom, 0 left and right. That way it pushes the link down and pushes the header up. And then for the button, or I should say the link with the class of BTN, we'll just make that look decent. And I know that this doesn't have anything to do with VH and VW, but I want to reiterate things we've already gone over. So we want this button to be inline block because by default links are inline. And then we're going to add text decoration none. Let's do a background of light gray. Change the color to dark gray. And let's do padding. We'll use rem. We'll do 0.75 on the top and bottom and 2 rem on the left and right. And save, and there's our button. Okay, so it looks a little better. And I mean, the text might not blend well with the background image. But later on, I'm going to show you how we can use CSS overlays where we can have like a dark overlay over the image so that the text is more readable. So, like I said, the viewport heights, it's always going to be 100, even if we have content below it. So let's go below the header and let's add a section. And we'll put an H3, we'll just say like about our company, and then we'll put a paragraph. Let's do lorem 50. And then I'm just going to add for that section, I'm just going to add padding of 2 rem just so it's not right up against the edge. Okay. So notice that it's still going to take up 100 viewport heights, and then immediately when I scroll down, we're going to see that content. And it doesn't matter how tall or short the browser is. So right now, you might think that as we scroll, we'll see more of the image, but no, as we scroll, it's going to go right to that content. So viewport heights is great for landing pages like this, where you have the large image, because it doesn't matter how tall or short your browser is. As soon as you scroll down, you're going to see the content. It only takes up 100 viewport heights of whatever the current browser size is. All right, now let's see if we make this smaller like that. Still looks good. So this is actually pretty responsive. Let's see. Let's actually check it out with the Chrome Tools device toolbar. So we're going to hit that. Okay, so that looks pretty good. If we look on it on an iPad, good. Now let's try an iPhone landscape. So we need to make this a little bigger, and we'll click the landscape. So in this case, I would probably want this to, yeah, that doesn't look very good. So I'd want this to be moved up. So let's practice our media query. And we don't have to do much. We just need to change the padding of the header. So let's say media, and I would say max height. So max height, let's do 450 pixels. What this means is that when the viewport is 450 pixels or less, then this styling will kick in. So we'll say header, and let's see, we initially set the padding top to what I think it was 15 rem. So let's try 5 rem and save. And there we go. So now it looks good on landscape. And if we go back, you can see it goes back to 15 rem. So it's a good example of where and when to use a media query. All right, so I think that's going to be it, guys. What I want to do in the next video is take our hotel website project, and I want to make that responsive. So we're actually going to be adding media queries to that project and just making it, overall, making it better. All right, so I'll see you in the next video.